Hey y'all, welcome to the UGC Podcast, where I'll be introducing you to amazing UGC creators from all over the world with all types of backgrounds and in whatever level they are currently in. From beginners to super experts, this podcast was made for you to learn about UGC and also get to meet the brilliant people that create UGC content. So if you're looking to start your UGC journey, this podcast is for you. And I hope you enjoy it, so let's get started. Okay, so hey everybody, thank you so much for joining the UGC podcast today. I'm so excited for our guest today, Santiago, aka the UGC boy. Before we get started, I just want to say to stick around till the end because I have a list of companies that are looking for UGC creators. So please stick around. Okay, now we're officially starting. So before we start with like UGC questions, I want to get to know you, and I'm sure the audience wants to get to know you a little bit better as well.
Okay.
So can you start where are you from?
Sure. Mm-hmm. So originally I am from Colombia, and I lived about half my life in Colombia, also in Ecuador. I spent 2 years in there. Cool. And then moved with my whole family to Canada in the 2000s, and ever since then we've been here. Ever since then we've been here. I finished my education in. Okay, sorry. Oh my God, sorry. I'm getting Let me backtrack.
Yeah.
So it's. The short answer is Colombia. So I'm half my life in Colombia and half my life has been spent in Canada. And currently I live in Vancouver, BC, out west.
Was it a little bit of a shock to move from Colombia to Canada? Not only the culture shock, but also kind of the weather, because Colombia is relatively warm. Besides Bogota, I think it's a little bit colder, right?
It's it's really I was in Cali, Colombia, so that's in the south. It's kind of a valley area, so it's nice and hot the whole year. Obviously there's no winter, there's rainy seasons, but that's as cold as it's gonna get. It was a really big shock. It was really big shock in so many ways because it was also very unexpected. We didn't plan on moving. We were basically forced to move. So it kind of made us uproot our life really quickly and kind of have to leave because we came as refugees to Canada.
Okay.
So, it was the whole thing was definitely a very quick and sudden thing to have to adapt to, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that must have been really rough. My mom and I are actually from Venezuela. I was born in Venezuela.
I was gonna ask you, you speak Spanish for sure.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. But I definitely do not have the Venezuelan accent because I came here very young at 7, and so all my friends Mexican, so I absorbed that. But my mom and I didn't know we were officially moving to the States, but it was kind of I kind of joke about it now because I remember when we first arrived, my mom was her and my uncle had taken me to the zoo, San Diego Zoo. We moved to California, San Diego Zoo,
nice.
LA Zoo, SeaWorld, Disney, and my mom, after all that, my mom's do you want to stay here? ¿Te quieres quedar? And I was yeah, we can go here all the time. And then joke's on me because I never went until I was in high school, and then we stayed here. And yeah, my mom hasn't gone back actually since we moved more than 23 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Venezuela is going through difficult times right now as well, which is so unfortunate. Yeah,
it is. It is. I have a lot of family that, luckily from my grandparents' side and my mom's side, we have Spanish passports, so a lot of them have immigrated back to Spain.
Good.
And stuff like that. But yeah, so one of my uncles actually had to hire a coyote to leave Venezuela because he couldn't, nobody could leave for at some point.
It's
And
crazy.
it's
Like
scary.
a lot of people just don't understand the realities of of what's happening in so many places in the world and how it's affecting so many people, and people genuinely have to find ways to leave,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then immigrants and refugees get such a terrible rep, right? And it's unfortunate because nobody wants to leave their country.
No.
Like nobody wants to leave. That's what I think gets missed. And it's your force, right? It's just realities in this world make people have to make that choice because otherwise there's no alternative, like it's that or
Yeah,
so
exactly.
lots needs to change.
Definitely, yeah. And I remember, I was very lucky to like live in Berlin, and during that my time while I was learning
Nice.
German, there was like a lot of Syrian refugees, and I heard them all the time. And like they're like they did not want to leave, but they had no choice. Like their houses were getting bombarded and stuff like that,
Exactly.
and they were still waiting for like, it was mainly women and children that were like allowed into Germany, or like were more easily able to become refugees, and they were some of them were still waiting for their husbands, and sometimes they didn't even know if their husbands were alive. And like it's such a scary thought to be like in this whole new country, not even knowing the language, learning it, but then also like the culture shock. Germany compared to like Syria, Germans are a little more cold, so
Huge switch.
huge. So
Yeah.
just like hearing their stories as well, it was very sad. And it's funny as well because people think that refugees are not educated at all and stuff like that, or like immigrants as well. And we're like, my mom has a bachelor's in journalism. The people that I met from Syria, some of them were doctors, teachers, mathematicians, like all these things. And they were really sad to like leave, like because they wanted to help their country too, but.
And then on top of that, it's like what you end up doing. Like for us, like my parents were like successful business owners. They had their own business for many years. We had a really nice life, and then you come with literally nothing. Like with the backpack on your bag and your back, and like gotta start from zero. So like that's what everybody goes through. It's like you lose everything, your education. Nobody knows you. Nobody can vouch for you. And you have to troop on, right? And just like make something of yourself and a life from yourself. But the lucky thing is that we have countries, for like in the case of Germany or in the case of Canada, that at least allow us to be, for example, for me where I'm at now. So it's also very lucky, that the people that can make it, it changes their lives immediately and their kids' lives.
Completely, yeah. Okay, I'll move on to the next question.
We're getting so deep, right?
I know, we're getting like super. The whole episode is about this now. Okay, what's the last show that you've binged on?
The last one?
Show.
Oh my God, listen, this is like the perfect timing for this question because I hadn't watched any TV shows for months and months and months and months and months. I just kind of like, I love TV, but I just, like last year, I took a year off and I traveled and I did things, so I wasn't really watching things at all.
Yeah.
And then recently, I got persuaded to watch The Last of Us because everybody, have you heard of it? The Last of Us? It's like with Pedro Pascal, and that's kind of the most known actor in it.
Yeah.
It's like a zombie show. It's like there's a mushroom or it's like a fungi that takes over the world because of global warming, and then it makes people into like these zombies. So it's your typical, zombie show, but when so many people talk about a show, kind of like Game of Thrones, where you just like, I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out because now all of my friends, my sisters, one of my sisters who like can't deal with anything scary, Jill was like, she's like, you gotta watch it. I'm like, what? So that's the last show that I binged.
Okay.
And in like 2 days, went through it. and this was like what, 2 weekends ago,
Yeah.
and it was I think more hyped up than I think, or
Really?
maybe my expectations were so high,
Uh-huh.
but it was just a typical zombie show. You know, like I'm like, there's nothing amazing about this. I don't know. It burst my bubble. So then I started watching Sense8 because that was like the next of my top of my list, like that I wanted to see, and that has been phenomenal. So like I'm watching that right now. I started yesterday or 2 days. Yeah, 2 days ago. And like I'm gonna, you know,
You're gonna
continue.
elevate it,
Yeah,
man.
I'm hooked. Like I need to know what happened.
Yeah. Wait, where did you find both of them? Are they both on Netflix?
They are. So I think Sense8 is on Netflix, but I'm staying with my parents right now. Like I'm visiting my parents, and they have some kind of like a subscription that gives them like tons of movies and tons of shows and tons of channels. So yeah, I'm kind of taking advantage of that.
Yeah, might as well. Okay, I
Yeah.
need
What about
to
you?
watch both of those. Oh man, the most recent one, I'm gonna say it was You.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't really watch like too
Season
much
2?
TV either.
That's season 2, right? I think.
It was this.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know because I've never seen like the first few seasons because when I first saw it, I'm like, this guy's super creepy. I don't wanna like, you know, this is so weird. But then this one was like based in London, and I'm like, I love London, so like I want to watch it, and it was actually not too bad. It was pretty good. There was definitely some like twist in it where I was like not expecting things to happen. But I won't be saying too much, just in case, you know, people.
Just in case I watch it,
Yeah, just in case you watch it, or like anybody else is like, don't spill the tea like on anything. But I
That's
definitely.
true. Yeah, good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because imagine somebody's just like casually listening to this,
Yeah.
and they're like, no.
La 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 la, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it out there. Like there's twists in it. Okay, what's your favorite dish?
Probably pad thai.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really good. For me, it's been usually Ethiopian food, but I haven't had it in a while.
Holy crap.
Have you tried Ethiopian food before?
I've tried Ethiopian food one time. That's it, in one restaurant in Vancouver, but that's it. Yeah, that's it.
It's usually the second time I've noticed with people that they start liking it more. The first time is usually like a shock of flavors. But I've noticed as well in some places that I've gone to that they don't season the food as much. And I actually one time I was in Barcelona and I was with a friend. And I'm like, oh, let's get Ethiopian food. It sounds so good right now.
Yeah.
And I went in there and the food was so bland. And I went up to the girl and I'm like, why is the food bland? And she's like, it's because the Spanish can't handle the spice. And I'm like,
Oh no, that's true.
no, don't change it. But I was like, you're
There's something weird
right.
with spice. It's so true.
Yes. So like, I mean, the place was packed. So, and it had really great reviews. But it was so bland. And I was like, no, don't change it.
It's like Ethiopian food light
Yeah.
version. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I need to. You know what? I'm gonna put that on my list.
Yeah.
When I go back home, I'm gonna see if, like, you know, I'll take some friends and we can have some Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Give it a second, like, try, because it's been. I'm with my sister, so it's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. I always recommend it. It's such a it's such good food, and it fills you up so good. And I actually like I used to go so often when I used to live in Berlin to like this specific Ethiopian restaurant that I used to like hug like the owners every time I saw them. I was like, hey, what's up? Like, I'm back. Like, because I ate there so often. And sometimes like one time we forgot like our cards and like money, like wallets basically. They're like, oh no, like they'll know we'll be coming back. So they're like, just forget it. We'll come back next time and pay it next time. And I was like, okay, thank you.
That's
It's
so
so
good.
good.
Put it in my tab.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's so good. I'm actually, maybe I'll get it this weekend. That sounds so good.
Yeah,
right now.
no, I'm hungry now. And you're in San Diego, right? You're still in San Diego?
No, I'm in Denver, Colorado right now.
In where?
In Denver.
Oh, Denver. Okay.
Yeah, I've been living here.
But you were in San Diego before.
I was in. Have you heard of Palm Springs?
Oh, what?
Palm Springs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to live there. My mom's still there. She like loves it. She loves the heat. Anything like cold or like if there's no sun, she gets depressed. So like I can't get her out of there.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel her. I feel I feel her. What brought you to Denver?
It was really interesting because I was actually living in the Netherlands at the time, and I was studying software engineer. But I was like, I want to do this quicker, and I don't want to do like this whole thing where like they're teaching me how to build computers, because I was like part of the program, and I didn't know until like I started it. And so like there was this connection that I had made that said like, hey, like I'm a like software engineer working in Madrid, and I studied in Denver. And she's like, you should just go there and like study the program. And so like I was like dropped out of school and then moved to Denver. And I was like, okay, I'm only gonna be here 6 months and then like get a job and move back to Europe. And then I've been here for like 3 years.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. Yeah.
It tends to happen. I've been to Denver once, and I went to the Royal Mint. You know?
The Royal Mint.
You have it's like where they make money.
It's is it on 16th Street? Do you remember? It's like on downtown.
You know, yeah, like it's downtown for sure. Mm-hmm. And I went for a conference, and then I had time, so then I went to Boulder, and then I also went to this Royal Mint. And if you haven't, I guess you haven't gone. Go, you have to go.
Okay.
Like it is so cool to see the behind the scenes of like literally how they make coins. Like they make coins, the value of the coins, like the actual value of the coins, because each coin has different values, you know, based on the metals that they're made from. And they tell you like how the banks tell them to get money or how much money they have to be made and processed and whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
It's honestly like it was a cool like experience for the knowledge that you gain from it.
Right.
So, highly 10 out of 10 recommend.
Good tip.
I think it's free. Was it free? It was, regardless, it would have been cheap.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. I had like no idea. It happens though. Like I'm not like, I was in school for like so long that my eyes were just like, and like everything else shut.
Oh, yeah.
And then I graduated right when the pandemic started. So like for like a year straight, I had like nothing to do, just like
dude, that's so hard. You know, and it's because my actual profession, like before UGC, like still is in interior design. Like I do commercial interior design, meaning like offices, restaurants, hotels, bars. Like that's my kind of my side, not residential. People are like, design my house. I'm like, no, not gonna happen. But I teach part time. Like I teach at a college, and oh my god, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about school.
Yeah.
And some of them that had to do school while like the first year of school through COVID was so hard for them, you know, because they missed, you know, that experience, right, of being in a campus with people, meeting new friends, like, and it was so difficult. So I graduating right into the pandemic, I would have been so hard too, right? Like what a different experience of that not many people have had or gone through.
And and especially looking for a job afterwards. So like as a recent graduate, just like when everything shut down, it was wild. Like I remember I went to like this job fair where some people were already, like some companies were already taking precaution. Even though like nothing was shut down properly, like some companies were already taking precaution and they weren't presently there. We had to do like interviews through a laptop. I mean, luckily it worked out and I got like a job for like a year and a half or 2 years. But I don't know. I wasn't as passionate as I thought I was gonna be about it, and like, so I'm like changing directions now, and this is like a lot more fun. I think I'm enjoying it more. Yeah.
This has been. How long have you been at this? Like at UGC?
Like since January, so like
no way.
I'm still a baby, still learning.
Yeah, we're babies.
Yeah.
We're UGC babies.
Still like, stepping in. But it's been really fun to like communicate with other UGC creators through like the podcast as well, or like to like connect with people. And like Twitter's also like super cool as well to like network. And Instagram has also kind of been pretty awesome too.
I did?
Yeah.
No, go on.
Oh no, I think that's it. Wait, what?
Oh, and I was gonna say I agree. Like I think, and I keep saying to people like go on Twitter, because I've heard and been approached a lot like, hey, I don't like Twitter, or I don't know what to do in Twitter and what have you. But all of the last 2 weeks, all of the inbounds that I've received from two brands and 5 agencies, I always ask like, where did you find me? And then that kind of curiosity to see what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
And they've all said Twitter. So I'm just like, guys, get on Twitter. I know it feels like the trenches of social media sometimes, but there's so many opportunities in there for both for networking and to be found by other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even I've seen posts of some like UGC creators where they're like, I'm not even getting any engagement on my Twitter, like nobody seems to like him or like comment on them. And for me, I still think like just keep posting, like even if like like your post doesn't get or your tweet doesn't get any engagement, like you never know, a company might see it and be like, hey, I like this, I'm gonna reach out to this person.
Totally. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's you never know, right? It's like you never know whose For You page your one video is gonna reach, and or search bar, or and it's better to be at least somewhat active in a social platform than entirely inactive.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Right? It's like keep it at quality over quantity if that's more what you strive for, or at least just post.
Yeah, exactly.
Moral of the story, just post. Like.
Even if it's just like a few times or maybe even one time a week, you never know.
Yeah.
Like I mean, last week I was like so busy, and I'm still kind of like busy with like projects and stuff that I haven't posted that much. But like now that this week is starting off, I'm like, okay, new week, new me. So let's post.
Every Monday, right?
Yeah, every Monday. I'm like, okay, let's see what this Monday brings. So yeah, just keep going, y'all. It's gonna work out. Okay.
It's gonna work out. It's true, and because it's so exciting when you hear everybody, talking about it. Like, I just got my this and I got this, and it can feel so overwhelming when you're first starting, because you're comparing yourself and you're seeing like, well, I'm not getting this, I'm not doing this, but we forget that every single person is on an entirely different journey. Like everybody has different responsibilities. Some people have families, some people might work 2 jobs on top of this, some people, so like it's better to not focus on what other people are doing. It's lovely to feel inspired that, hey, it can happen, or to learn from what people are doing to get to that position. But at the same time, it's like, don't get caught up on that, because what you're doing and behind the scenes is so different to what everybody else is doing.
Absolutely.
And I also think that we need to be more mindful as well, like in this industry, because it is like, just from what I'm seeing, people are being like, hey, I did this and I won this, man, so much money and this, but it's like, remember that there's people that are not there yet, and that there are others like socioeconomic like situations. So it's just it's not good for, I think, mentally for people sometimes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's good to share your goals, like share your wins. Absolutely, like it's super great to share your wins, and but it's also good to share your losses. Like, you know, all last month in February, I was like, I did not make anything at all. January, when I first started, I made like my first. I was lucky because I got a $150 video to do, but it was only because I spoke German. So they were looking for German creators in the U.S. And I don't know if like maybe there's not a lot of competition yet in that field, where within the U.S. there's not a lot of UGC creators that also speak German, or haven't gotten there yet.
Was this the one that Kelly posted?
I don't think so. No, it was kind of like this brand agency, or like this agency.
Damn, I wish I knew that you spoke German, because Kelly from UGC Socials posted an opportunity, and she's like, you gotta be US based and you have to speak Italian, German, or another something else, you know, Portuguese, I don't know, right? And I was like, you know, would they accept Canadians, right? And then she was like, I'll see if they're flexible on that. And I was like, can you see if they're flexible on the languages?
Yeah, because I mean, Spanish is also very useful everywhere. Yeah.
So I thought it was that opportunity, because, you know, I haven't seen many like German speaking opportunities for the US aside from that one.
Yeah, no, I think I've heard of that one before, but I think I was a little too late to apply to that one. But yeah, it was completely out of luck, that one. I was very lucky. February was completely dead. And then luckily this month, which I think also was a little bit lucky, because I don't know if you've heard of collab. There's like platform to like find UGC gigs, or like sometimes influencer gigs. I'll send you the link.
Oh my god! Yeah, please send that. Is it K-O-L-Y? Coley?
Coehly. It's spelled a little bit like interesting.
No, send me that. Yeah, please.
I'll send you the link. Hopefully, fingers crossed. They work in Canada. Yeah. Which I hope they do. I think they do as well. So this brand was specifically looking for people in Denver and Chicago.
Okay.
So again, that was for me very, very lucky. And there was another, I have a friend who has a skincare brand. Yeah. And she's like, hey, can you like help me create some videos? I got some work there to do as well. And then some Upwork opportunity, but I had to actually cancel that one this morning, because what they were asking for wasn't really UGC. I was happy to do it for them anyways though, but it wasn't working out because they wanted me to like do massage videos with like washable pants, but like even with these, it doesn't come off the skin for some reason. Like I was trying to like massage my boyfriend. My thumbs are like still like purple and blue. And it was not coming out like the videos that they wanted me to do. And I'm like, I can't create like this content for you because it's not coming out how you want it. And that opportunity is like out. But I do have my first kind of like brand talk coming up after this call, actually, where this brand wants to like what is it called? I saw it this morning. I wrote it on Twitter this morning too. I'll be talking to a brand about a possible collab. So it's been very active this March. But again, that's because I kept going too. Like, you know, even with February being like completely dead, I was like, you know, maybe next month it'll be better. And maybe April's going to be even better, maybe not. But the thing is like to keep going too.
Yeah, agreed. Same. I think this morning, I got finally, and I'm going to make a video about it, because it was my first deal, and it was a very nice, like, it was a great first, like, contract to have, and I was just waiting, because we've been going back and forth, and, like, you know, what they needed, the requirements, the blah, 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 the terms. Like, it took almost a month, you know, of back and forth and, like, laying the contract and blah, blah. And finally, I've now received, like, the contract signed. Like I signed mine yesterday, and they sent me the contract signed today, and I'm like, oh my fucking, because it was like it was a good start, for for me. But the video won't be. It's gonna be on what I did to do that. Like what it is behind the scenes that I did to get there. Like the research, like clarifying your goals, clarifying your intent, like what is it that you're here in this industry to do, and what are you doing long term? Like, because some people might just be and say, hey, I want to make some quick money or some pretty videos, and it's like, dude, especially now that it's becoming more and more saturated, and will probably continue on doing so, there's more that has to be done. There's more that you have to offer, and know what to do and how to negotiate and things like that for you to stand out. So
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more work than just creating pretty videos, and it's already been kind of like shared by other UGC creators, and like I'm gonna call them elder UGC creators, even though they're not that old, but like they're not knowledgeable. Yeah, like they've already been saying like it's not the like aesthetic videos that like get this, like maybe get the exposure, but not like the total sales. It's more like talking videos, like, and I'm still working on that myself. I'm still trying to get more comfortable with that myself, but it's definitely working to that point where you're like already kind of like not selling, but like, hey, like this is what helped me, and this solved my problem, and this is how it's gonna solve your problem, and just creating those videos.
Want this.
You want this.
This is gonna change your life.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how when you see a good ad of things that like, sometimes you don't even need or think you need, right? And then you're just like, damn, like that's good, that's well done. Like I need that mood ring or whatever it is I'm seeing,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like how it's built, and research helps a lot. Still working on that, but yeah. Okay.
Are you doing this full time, or are you still working like in somewhere else?
Actually, I'm working somewhere else part time, and then this is kind of like the rest of my time kind of ordeal. Like I have to pay my bills. I'm like way into student debt right now. So and then I also had traveled almost all last year as well, and that accumulated some like a little bit of debt. So
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Regardless I'm positive.
You did the traveling, you did the thing, you did the schooling. Like none of those things are ever gonna be regrets, right? So money will come. Money will come. Let's just manifest.
Exactly.
Things will come.
Amen. I approve. I would have never met like my friends that I've met here in Denver without like having going to school, or like the people that I met during my travels as well. So I'm very grateful for my experiences.
Totally. Especially people you meet during travels. Like this is a different connection. Like it's people that sometimes you meet for like 1 day, 2 days in a hostel, at a beach, whatever, and they just become friends sometimes for life, right? Like you just stay in touch for a long time after. It's a different connection, I think.
And I'm hoping to like visit some of them in their home country eventually, once like everything's like more sorted over here. But that's one of my goals. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. So how did you get started with your journey into UGC? Actually,
I've been, as I mentioned, like in the design industry for 13 years, and 7 of those years I built my own company, or 6. This is my 6 or 7 that I've run my own company, and I just knew for a long time that I lost a lot of passion for the industry itself, and I wanted a change. Like I was working so hard, so much, I got burnt out. Like I really burned the hell out, and that teaches you many lessons, like of priorities and focus, and just a lot of things. So I finally decided, it literally was on 2020 when I was like, okay, you know what? This is going to be the year where I make the changes. You know, I'd worked hard. I was going to travel and go back to school because that had always been my goal. And then naturally, because of, you know, COVID, those plans like got halted. So I was able to execute them last year. So last year I was like, I'm going to take the whole year off. And because I've been working my ass off since I've moved to Canada, you know. And so I took the year off. I did some French classes because I've been learning French kind of like as I go. But I wanted to like properly immerse myself. So I went to France. I learned, you know, I'm still learning. I'm not fluent, but I've, you know, I learned. I went up a level, let's say.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then things that I just didn't get to do, to be honest, like growing up, because, you know, my circumstances made it a little bit difficult. So I just kind of got things out of my system that I just wasn't able to like just do in my previous upbringing. And it was a lot of fun. And this year I then was like, okay, you know, like what can I do? You know, like where am I going? What am I like what's next for me? And my educational goal, like the primary educational goal, is doing a master's. Like that's always been what I want to pursue. I want to do something that is more impactful towards people, you know. So that's going to be starting in 2024. So in the meanwhile, there's this transitional year where I need to start gearing up for that, you know, preparing for like, what can I do realistically that is not going to take up so much of my time,
right?
That I can do with a lot of flexibility, so that when I do go back to school, you know, I could possibly do this, you know, like I need something that's going to help me. And then I run into UGC, like I run into like content creation, started kind of like seeing it last year, like what is this? You know, I found out about it by on TikTok, and I was like, this sounds right up my alley, you know, like it really excited me because I was like, in general in my life, I love making videos, I love taking photos. So it just felt like such a perfect fit, you know, like such a good outlet for me, and I love the creativity involved, you know. So yeah, I guess it's like it feels like a good outlet for expressing my creativity, making some money, and building kind of like something like a brand that could last for long, you know, like being involved in social media, I think is quite beneficial. So it just checks a lot of buttons, and that's why I'm like, let's do it, you know, like it just was calling my name. Like every time, the more I research, I'm like, this is calling my name. And then eventually, like last month, I'm like, let's fucking do it. Like, what am I waiting? Let's just go for it.
Yeah, and it worked out really well for you. You've been doing so great. I've been watching like some of your videos, and I'm like,
what? Thanks.
So good. Yeah.
It's because I enjoy making content, you know. So like so I'm glad it comes across. Glad that it comes across.
No, you can definitely tell, like, and I'm sure like a lot of like even people that don't do UGC can tell that you're doing it with a passion, and like, because I mean it shows in your face, in your voice, and how you're displaying the product, you're talking about it. It like you just like it, and it feels almost as like normal to you, like just more natural. Yeah, more natural to you.
Nice, good to hear.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like my years of like watching infomercials and like when we first came to Canada, like we would watch. My house was it gets really hot in the summers, you know, like it gets really humid in Ontario on the like eastern part of Canada. People don't realize this, like it gets really hot and humid, you know. And my house didn't have any like air conditioning when we first came here, so we would just like hang out in the basement all the time because it was the coldest place, and watch infomercials with like my sisters at night.
And that's where
So
you
maybe
take
it's
notes.
like years of that.
Yeah.
That like subconsciously just like got stuck in my head to like sell products.
I mean, now I'm gonna have to watch some of those infomercials now to like get some tips.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some ads actually recently where I'm like, oh, that wouldn't be so bad to use like in UGC. So I'm like also kind of like visually taking notes sometimes of what I see. But yeah.
What made you like? Why got you into this?
It's very interesting. So like last year, I had kind of like given up. I quit my job, and I hope my mom's not hearing this because I haven't told her that I quit. But
Oh no.
but she won't be listening. Hopefully.
Sorry, I won't tell her.
Don't tell her. Nobody tell her. I'm gonna edit this out. But like, so I left the job and I was traveling. I was in Costa Rica.
Nice.
And I was kind of like doing some affiliate marketing thing and like learning from it because it seemed very interesting. I had created a TikTok about it and how to like do affiliate marketing and stuff like that, but it wasn't hitting. It wasn't like doing well, and I was like, I don't know. Like I really enjoyed creating. That's the thing. Like I really enjoyed creating the videos, and but it was just not working out, and it wasn't my path. Like it was so like working in social media, I felt like that's a path to take, but it wasn't the right kind of like subject to do. And so I had a friend on my last stop of my trip, which was in Mexico. The friend that does like the skin, that has like the skincare brand thing.
Yeah.
I met her there. She was like my hostel roommate, and she noticed how much I love skincare because I love to take care of my skin. Like I put sunscreen on like there's no other day. Yeah, and then like on my in the evenings I would just like wash my face and like have mask on. So she's like, you love skincare so much, why don't you create videos about like skincare? And then it kind of like build up from
and
that.
you can tell, by the way, like your skin's like
Oh, thank you.
fantastic. Yeah.
30 years.
Secrets.
No, it's not that old. But thank you. So she actually gave me the first opportunity to like she sent me like my first gifted collab and stuff like that. So like thanks to her and like with her like I guess push as well, and she kind of like started it for me as well, and I'm very thankful for that. Like, you know, if I wouldn't have met her, would I have started it? Probably yes, probably a little bit later than I would have probably. So yeah, that's just kind of like how it started. And then I'm making this time around. She paid me for content, so it's like very exciting. Because now we're building up from that.
Do you like? Is that kind of? Do you want to niche into that more? The like personal beauty, healthcare kind of thing. Personal care.
I do, but at the same time, I really love exploring different things. I love things health related for sure. I love natural products, eco-friendly products, and I wouldn't mind doing kind of like, oh well, I already did it with like the app that I recently did for creators for. It was a car sharing app. I did a video for them recently, and that was actually really fun to do. So I wouldn't say like properly niche down, but I do love those type of products for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and I feel like it's that it appears maybe just from seeing like in my journey here that healthcare that personal care is maybe probably the most saturated one. Right? It feels like skincare might be like one of the hardest possibly to get in there, but then again, there's so many brands in the world that who knows? Yeah.
And there's so many businesses as well, like showing up every year. Like I remember when I used to do like the affiliate marketing thing. I think there was like there's a percentage of brands of new companies that open every year, and it's a pretty high. It's like really high. Where like you're always gonna have something going on. And so like those companies, even if they're small, they're gonna need some type of marketing, and that's what we're here for. And
yeah,
so
agreed. And I think it's this type of approach to selling a product still has it feels, I mean, again, I'm new, but it feels like there's still some longevity to it because it works, it's effective, like regardless of like the approaches might be changing, the styles of the videos and things, like maybe the hooks will evolve over, like things that usually captivate people's attention might each, evolve as we go. But the person face to face telling you like, hey, this is what the product actually looks like or how it works or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That trust, right, is always is yeah. There's still time for people to crave that. I guess it's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think we're still in the early stages of it for sure. And even as it evolves, we've already kind of like started to be that part of that growth. Even as it evolves, we'll be evolving with it as well along the process. And especially like getting mentors is also very helpful. Like
Totally.
along the way of like you growing, because then they'll help you like understand videos or like the evolution of the videos and stuff like that, because they themselves are doing it as well, and they already with like their elder UGC knowledge will be like able to adapt to it too.
The elder UGCs. That's so good. So there has to be like another word, eh? That's my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Say hi. Yeah, what's another word?
I don't know. Like, I mean, their experience.
OGs, yeah.
The OGs, yeah. I mean, I think the
OGs.
oldest, not the old. I don't want to make them sound old because they're not. But like the I guess oldest one that I've heard so far was probably like, I think either 10 to 6, which it's not super bad for, but I'm still interested to hear like how UGC was back in those days, which I'm still trying to understand that, because social media wasn't, I don't know, was it as huge that day? I can't remember. I was probably, oh man, I was only 20.
Yeah. Well, when was like, because like 2020, I think, when it exploded or started like formally as UGC, because it's existed before, but it's kind of
a different name for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was probably 2020 or late 2020, early 2021 where it started to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're only 22?
Yeah.
Are you 22?
No, me? Oh no, I wish. Thank you though. Thank you for thinking that. No, I'm 30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you were 22. You were 20. I thought you said that you were 20 back then, and I'm like, oh my God.
No, like when it first started, like obviously
30?
10 years ago, I was 20. But I was like, even when my 20s, I didn't have like that much. I think I got my first Instagram when I was like 21.
Oh, you're talking like back in that far.
Back then, I don't remember seeing any UGC like videos and stuff like that.
No, because I feel like it became very popular through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's when it like really gained prominence of like, this is effective, this works, there's no other alternate, right? Mm-hmm. So selling, okay, got you.
Yeah, no, I was just sorry, I made it confusing. But yeah, I was just like wondering how they were like doing it back then. But actually, one of the girls I talked to a few weeks back, she actually had been doing it kind of like UGC, but she named it differently and I can't remember what it was. It was something about marketing. And she was actually she was reaching out to brands and she's like, hey, I would love to create content for you in exchange for your product. And she has been like doing it, I think she did it for like three years.
Yeah.
And then just like a few months ago, she found out that you can actually get paid for it. She's like, what? I can get paid for that? Oh, no. And I was like, she had not been being paid that whole time. But she got like a lot of things, obviously. Like some furniture as well and everything. So just for like her to create content or reviews or anything like that. And
but I guess now she has so much amazing experience and connections, right? So she can be like, all right, guys, you know how I did this for free before for you? Like, pay up.
Yeah. Here's my
It's
invoice.
A lot you're gonna pay up.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty hilarious. But yeah. Let me see. I'll ask one more question because I actually have to get ready for my brand meeting in a few minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So let me see. I had like a whole list, but we just ended up talking about like life.
No, it's totally funny. You know, I'm just like blah, 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 blah.
No, same with me. So I was just like, let me see. Oh, do you have any tips for like super baby or like people that are interested in UGC but don't know if they want to start? Like, what tips can you give them that have already kind of like helped you?
Spend some time researching. Like, genuinely go and research. The best resources will be like the elder. Go on the elder UGCers pages. They have so many free resources. Number one, like, go and poke around. I'm starting to like do videos on this, like on the best free resources that are out there that have helped me immensely. In terms of like getting started, what UGC is, terminology, everything is out there. Pick 2 or 3 people you kind of vibe with that have been doing this for a while, and watch their information. You know, like literally watch what is UGC, how to get paid, structures, like the basics, you know, of what this is. I would then say go on their portfolios, because a lot of them have their portfolios or websites still available.
Yes.
And that shows you what a UGC video, you know, and if they're using these portfolios to get work, then these are some of the best work that they have, you know. So take a look at those, or go on the TikTok Ad Center and spend some time understanding the concept of what a UGC video is. So research, analyze, and then I would say start executing. You know, like grab things around, start testing, if you don't know what to do, just literally recreate either one of the videos that you're seeing in the TikTok Ad Center or from the creators, just for practice, not for, you know, but to practice and see what are you looking at? What is good about it? What are you gravitating towards the video? So is it the lighting? Is it how they're speaking? Is it the angles? Is it the text on screen? Is it the music? Is, you know, like what is it? Like analyze what it is so that you can kind of start understanding it from a deeper perspective of it's not just a video. It's what, you know, what about the video is working. And then spend time on your portfolio, like align yourself with, and this is when I mentioned before that I'm going to do a video on how I got this deal, which is a decent, you know, to start off, is really something to be proud of, you know, like, but it's not in vain. It's because I did a lot of all of this that I'm saying, you know, like, and I created content that was going to align with the types of brands that I wanted to, you know, and that would value the work that I was going to be able to provide, even starting. So spend some time making sure that your brand, your personal brand is on point, you know, everything works. Your portfolio stands out in terms of the look of it, at least, right? To begin, because I know like the quality of your videos also is number one, essential. But at, you know, first time, you got to make sure that somebody who's seeing you can't immediately tell that you don't even know, like, you know, that first impression has got to be impactful as well. Yeah, exactly. You know, like in some way, so that they can then see the videos and be like, oh, okay, you know, this is okay. I think that's kind of it. And then stay on top of your socials. Go on Twitter. Like, go on Twitter. Find your community, make friends, like chat. People are so nice and so kind. Even the elderman, like the elder.
That's gonna stick now.
There's some that I have reached out to and started to form, like, you know, the beginning of a nice, like, I think, friendship. And they have generously offered me their experience, their time, their guidance, you know, like, So network, go on TikTok lives, watch, like just learn, think, soak things up, analyze, soak things up, and then execute all of that.
Yeah,
is
definitely.
What I would say.
TikTok lives are so helpful, especially coming from like elder UGC creators. I'm still laughing because it's like, is that stuff gonna stick now? But all those tips are great. Yeah, hopefully they don't get mad. But it's all the tips are there. They're really good, and I'm gonna be putting like all your social media information,
Cool.
your portfolio as well, all in my notes. So for like anyone that wants to ask you any questions or like also see your videos, especially because of your tips, or any brands out there that are listening that want to like collab, with Santiago.
You got two wonderful people right here.
We're available.
Quality work.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave you here, Santiago. Thank you so much for joining, and this was a really fun talk. Definitely we should do like a part 2.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, that we should definitely do a part 2 of this talk sometime in the future.
Like whenever. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for inviting me. Number one, and I'm so glad you're doing this. Like I feel like you're at the start. Like it's the perfect time for you to do this now.
Yeah.
Because I can see you taking this for a long time.
Yeah.
With this podcast. So
thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck. And anytime, call me because I'm ready. This was so much fun.
All right, I'll call you the next time. All right. Thank you, Santiago. See you soon.
Good luck with your call. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao. And now what I'm sure y'all have been waiting for. Drum rolls, please. Brands offering UGC opportunities. Let's list some out. Okay, now starting off, there is the brand Landa looking for content creators based in Mexico. There's Kaiser's World of Art. They're looking for female content creators. There is also Gofla looking for US-based content creators to make UGC sponsored posts. V-Shred looking for fitness content creators based in the US, UK, and Canada and Australia. There's also Vampire Cosmetics looking for US-based female content creators. There's Italic looking for LA-based women who represent an aspirational lifestyle to make UGC. And finally, there's Top of the Morning Coffee looking for millennial and Gen Z content creators worldwide. Now, if you want to get more of these opportunities in your email weekly, there's a link on my notes for y'all to sign up to Brand Meets Creators. They have the most amazing selection of brands looking for creators, even international creators that I've seen. So please click the link in the notes below. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for listening today. I loved hearing all about Santiago's journey and the tips that he's learned so far in the UGC world. All of Santiago's social media links and portfolio are going to be on the notes in case you want to reach out to him or just continue to follow his journey. Thank you so much for your support. Please like, subscribe, leave any comments or suggestions, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.